Narcissists often appear powerful and confident, but underneath, they're incredibly fragile. What truly undermines them isn't drama or confrontation. It's emotional detachment, strong personal boundaries, and a refusal to be manipulated. When you stop reacting to them, when their words and actions no longer provoke you, it's like cutting off their oxygen supply. Narcissists feed on attention. It doesn't matter if it's praise or anger. Any emotional response fuels their sense of importance. But silence? Indifference? That leaves them powerless and confused. They can't control what they can't affect. Clear boundaries also threaten their illusion of control. When you enforce limits they can override, you're sending the message that their tricks no longer work. They may push harder at first, but each time you hold firm, they're forced to recognize that their influence is fading. That's a terrifying realization for someone who thrives on dominance. Narcissists also rely on emotionally generous people, those who try to understand, forgive, and support them no matter what. But when you stop giving them your empathy and begin protecting your own energy, they begin to crumble. They don't know how to exist without someone constantly soothing their wounds or managing their chaos. Being honest with a narcissist, calmly showing them who they really are, is deeply unsettling for them. They construct elaborate false images of themselves. But when you stop playing along and reflect their true behavior back to them, it shakes their carefully curated reality. It's a mirror they can't manipulate, and that kind of exposure is unbearable. Holding them accountable also leaves them rattled. Narcissists run from responsibility because it threatens their grandiose self-image. When you stop accepting blame, stop excusing them, and insist on consequences, they're forced to face the parts of themselves they work so hard to hide. And that's something they absolutely dread. They also live in a fantasy world where they're always the victim or the hero. The moment you stop participating in their script, when you refuse to play the role they've assigned you, the story collapses. Without someone to validate their delusions, they're left in a reality they can't control, and that sends them spiraling. What really weakens a narcissist is your emotional freedom. When you can walk away calmly, live peacefully, and no longer rely on them for anything, they lose their grip. The knowledge that you're doing better without them, thriving, healing, and no longer looking back, eats away at them more than any confrontation ever could. In the end, their misery is self-inflicted. The pain they feel comes from losing control, from being exposed, and from realizing that the world continues to turn without them at the center. And your peace, your quiet, unwavering freedom, is their greatest defeat.